What is up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Live Locks, presented by Scores and Odds. If you haven't checked it out already, just making bad life choices. Go on over there. We got picks from me, Meansy, Daniel. Plus, you get access to our prop shopping tool, where it shows you exactly what the best odds are for each individual prop, plus where you can find the best odds. On top of that, you get access to Grant's Action Lounge, where I'm throwing it into chat. Just go to scoresandodds.com/Discord. Get on in there, where every single bet you see on the show is in there. I'm joined by, some would say, my friend.
Grant, I'm hearing an echo. I don't mean to cut you off, but you know what? My bad. I'm sorry.
It's
I did
100%
cut you off.
you.
That was on me.
You idiot. You freaking idiot. Well, and that bring in the idiot with a great mustache.
Returning champion by default. Yeah, I was here. By the way, shout out to you yesterday. Early in the Action Lounge, I saw people celebrating. I assume, I don't know how you did yesterday, and you typically talk about.
I won some. We started off so well and then missed the rest of them. Most of the rest of them. I ended up making money, but not a lot. Just a little bit. But yeah, it was a disappointing after like the first inning. Hit Mazzara, hit Morel, and then Baez had one that would have been out in 15. I started tracking would it be out?
Tilt you, man. It's gonna tilt you like crazy.
Well, I want to see like if I'm just off. Like so far, I've won probably like a very minute amount. I've been doing the home runs for about a week now, and I just started going hard on Wednesday. I'm up a small amount of money, but I want to know, like, all right, am I just throwing money away? Like, I need to know like how often it would have gone out of the ballpark, and like, so all these guys, you look at the games that I'm picking, like. Most of them, there's a lot of home runs. A lot of times it's not landing on my guys, which is fine. That's random variance. Sometimes it's going to be all my guys, like the Cubs game yesterday. Sometimes it'll be none of my guys. That's fine. Like you need to know if there's being home runs hit in that game, just to know if you're on the right track. And then you have to know, all right, how much of this is variance? Like, am I actually doing bad, or is this variance? And looking at things. Wednesday, I had 10 barrels of my 27 bets, only 4 home runs. So, and most of those would have gone out in 15 of the 30 ballparks. So it just happened.
Not to cut you off, but do we know what % of barrels are turning the homers, give or take? I don't know.
I think it's like 75%, 80%.
Really? Okay, I didn't think it was that high.
What?
Because sometimes I think barrels can even be like really, really good line drives, like not like a line drive that's like 5 feet high, but like maybe like 15 or 20 feet that typically don't get that as high as you want to get over the fence sometimes. But did I buy you enough time to Google it?
I'm looking at it. Barrel between at least 98 miles per hour, between 26 and 30 degrees. Let's see. I think it's pretty darn high. Home run per barrel. It explains 77% of the variance.
61.7% of barrels were home runs. This is the first thing I see. So interesting.
Yeah. So it's 60% of barrels on average. This was from a while back, I think.
This is 2022.
Yeah. This is from 2019. So it says, about 60% of barrels go for home runs. And obviously, like, different ballparks are different. I mean, Great American Ballpark, for instance, today, 75%. Like, you're looking at Oracle Park, and it's 45%, which I'm not targeting home runs in almost any of the bottom half of ballparks. I'm looking specifically at the top. I don't really bet barrels at Oracle or Comerica or Kaufman.
Once you get the right odds, I think the odds are good enough. You're willing to take a shot. Like I think you saw you the other day talking about you had Perez in San Fran, where the odds were just good enough, right?
Yeah, I can't remember what San Fran is. That's not 18. Why can't I remember?
Oracle's San Fran, or is that Oakland? It's one of those two.
Oracle's Oakland.
Okay.
Why am I? Oh gosh, it's gonna crush my brain.
They changed the name of it in San Francisco. I'm pretty sure. If only we had a machine we can type this information into. What's the fun in that?
Or is it Oracle?
I thought Oracle is one of the West Coast ballparks. It might be Oakland. It might be San Fran. Now I'm gonna Google.
It's Oracle. Oh,
Oracle is San Fran. Yeah.
What's the Oakland ball? Ring Central. That was the one that changed. Okay.
What is Oakland called?
Ring Central Coliseum.
Whoa. That's the. But that's all. That's gone. Like Oakland's going to Vegas. I'm sorry, Oakland fans, but or they're gonna. Yeah, it can't happen much longer. They got to go.
I mean, like most of the barrels I'm taking are barrels in Wrigley, barrels, and I have a ton over in Great American Small Park, which again, the barrels go for 75% home runs. So,
yeah, I can see that.
Not all barrels are created equal, obviously, but yeah, I get that. So that's just, I mean, and I've had multiple home runs since I've bet Wrigley that weren't barrels that went for a home run.
Yes. And sometimes you can barrel the ball in Fenway and hit the monster, but like it would go out every other ballpark, but because it's not high enough, that kind of thing. So you really can't.
Yeah, well, so you know what? Who has the lowest barrel percentage for home run?
Which ballpark has the lowest barrel percentage for home run?
Yep,
it's a good question.
Wrigley, not Wrigley. Sorry, Fenway.
Because of the monster, and also dead center is really hard, and also right field. Like after you get away from pesky pole, it jets back pretty quickly. Like I was always impressed, like with Devers and David Ortiz. Like lefty power is not great in Fenway unless you're really pulling the ball.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, it's
of course wild stuff. As righties, going to left field to just get the ball high enough.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk about a game first that you probably haven't looked into too much.
I'm going to guess Milwaukee.
Yep. So I have a ton of bets here. Like just absolute ton. First, on one side, we have Lauer, Lauer's been pretty solid so far this season. He's due for some positive regression versus lefties in a small sample size, but some negative regression to righties, so an extreme amount. The guy's giving up 44% fly balls and 39.6% hard contact. So I have Pham and India both to hit a home run. Pham I have at, let me see, plus 530.
I was going to guess between 5 and 6.
Yeah, and then India, where are you at? Did I not bet him? Oh, yeah, India, plus 500. What do you think about those? Again, he's giving up a lot of hard contact, a lot of fly balls, being played in Great American Small Park. I think that those are solid. They're not great, but they're solid. There's great ones on the other side.
But winds are out to center field as well at 10 miles per hour. It's expected to be hot. And I just wanted to mention little synergy, chief meteorologist Kevin Roth, he's got his Weather Edge tool. Weather Edge tool is free. And there's Milo in chat there on YouTube. Hit that like button as well, too. Not enough people hit the like button when they watch this video. It's free content. Just hit the like. It's not that difficult. 61% confirming the barrels there in the chat. But sometimes, many days, Roto-Grinders, we give away free content. Today's free piece of content is chief meteorologist Kevin Roth, his Weather Edge tool. I just dropped it in the YouTube link there. And there's a lot of fire emojis. Sample size matters, obviously. It just basically talks about how the game plays based upon previous, nothing to do with players, who's out there. You don't know anything of that. Just the final scores, how many home runs, how many runs were scored, ERA. And based upon similar weather in previous, times it was played in this game, in this ballpark. And red fire emoji in Cincinnati, 30-game sample, Grant. 30-game sample. I don't know what to do with 30 games, but the fire emoji tells me 88 degrees.
So, yeah, you don't have to, we know it's 88 degrees.
Yeah.
The dew point 61, 11 miles per hour out. That's all you need to know. Plus, we know that has some of the smallest ballpark dimensions in all of baseball.
And so, and they've given up a lot of home runs in that ballpark, and 39% bump based upon how that ballpark normally plays. So I love the home run bets there. Also, I love Hunter Green. I'm sure you're going to talk about him in a second on the other side. I think he's got an electric arm. He throws in the hundreds, right?
The guy's absolutely incredible, but you know what he struggles with.
He gives up home runs, and he gives up 55% fly balls this season, 2.25 homers per 9. The homer to fly ball is not crazy. It's less than 18%. And again, that ballpark is a tough ballpark to pitch in for him. And he's giving up fly balls, and it's hot, and the wind's blowing out. He's going to give up a couple of homers. He's probably going to strike out 8 as well. He's probably going to do both. But, go ahead.
Yeah, the main thing with him is he's not giving up a lot of home runs to lefties. He's giving up very, very few, which is weird. He's a fastball, slider, changeup, so he should probably give up more power to righties just because sliders generally a pitch that gives up more power. Changeup gets more soft contact. But yeah, we've seen the numbers. So do you know what his home run per 9 versus righties is?
Well, Grant, I like to pay attention in this show, and I like to anticipate things. So I just pulled that up. I could just say 3.45, and I'm just going to throw out a random number. But yeah, I was pulling that up as you were talking about his splits, and yeah, 3.45 versus righties, 1.15 versus lefties. I mean, that's probably not going to. It's a small sample. We're talking about like 60 innings or so in his career, but that is it's a big number. It's a lot of homers.
Yeah, so I looked at the numbers earlier to kind of check things out. Hunter Green, how do you think his numbers were in the minors for home run to fly ball variance?
You know what? I did not check that, but
so he's at 17.6% in the majors, 16.9% in AAA.
Nice. Yeah.
Double, which those are less power guys. Like it should realistically be smaller. So we have not a huge sample size, but pretty much a full year. Double A, single A guys don't have the same power. You don't even pay attention. Like you can't really expect them to have the same home run numbers. You can get a little bit of a feel for things, but that's why he also had a drastically lower xFIP in Double A and Single A, drastically lower FIP in Double A and Single A because FIP doesn't account for home run to fly ball variance, and xFIP obviously. If the guys aren't hitting home runs and getting enough fly balls, then they're kind of screwed. But yeah, 26.8% ground ball rate so far this season. Guy just throws some of the best heat I've ever seen, for a starting pitcher.
He's going to be good. He's young. He's still figuring stuff out. You definitely see flashes. And he almost had a no-hitter earlier in the year. And, he's also had outings where he just absolutely gets hammered. And he's giving up 4 or 5 homers. I like him as prospects going forward. But is your favorite one? Did you run up the guys you like in Milwaukee? Routed to Leeds, I saw was plus 500 or something like that last I checked.
Plus 400.
Okay. Oh yeah. Plus So that seems pretty good.
Yep, I hit that. I hit Urias at plus 530. I hit. By the way, I hit Farmer too at plus 570 for a home run. Just loving the weather there. I hit Yelich over 1.5 total bases plus 140, which is just a silly number for that. I hit McCutchen plus 500. I hit Adames plus 300. I'm hitting everyone who can hit the ball at the ballpark. Didn't go home run for Yelich because his odds weren't great, but the over 1.5 total bases is great because even if you're not getting a home run, decent chance at a double going up against Green.
Well, he's also on the road, almost definitely leading off, so well positioned to get that fifth at bat, and that fifth at bat might be the what puts you over, what you need, right? That's all you need is one time essentially. I like that over 1.5. What's the odds on that for Yelich?
Plus 140.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, Yelich is plus 140 to get over 1.5 bases today?
Yep.
What am I missing? That's awesome.
I mean, a lot of other sites. So it's
why would you bet the home run bet? The home run's probably 2.5 to 1.
Yeah, it's not great. Yelich still that brand name. So and Hunter Green has been good. That's why the numbers are so high, and they haven't fully factored in the ballpark. Yeah, Yelich is plus 385 for a home run. I'll gladly take over 1.5 total bases instead.
I love that number. I don't get it. Why is it plus 140? That seems just wrong to me.
Yeah, big old dum-dums over there.
Wow.
Don't understand it.
Is that still
up? Let's see. Let me check.
I know you hit the stuff earlier, obviously, and hopefully,
It's down to plus 134 over at Superbook. Everywhere else is fully adjusted or adjusted enough. You can get it plus 125 at MGM, plus 123 at Caesars, plus 120 over at DK.
Okay.
But
I think that's a really good number.
Let's see. I'm just going to go through some of these. Could be in order. Some of them will be out of order. Let's go to the Atlanta game. I have a few bets in that one. Atlanta going up against Chicago. Not nearly the same weather as has been, but it
starts in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. So I have Acuna to hit a bomb. I have D'Arnaud to hit a bomb. That's it. Just get those in. Acuna sitting at plus 310 over at Barstool. D'Arnaud plus 550. I wouldn't hit D'Arnaud there. It's already moved to 480. Actually, it's still not terrible, but over at it's moved a lot. So I got a good line there. All right, so we got that one out of the way. You in for both of those going up against Thompson. Thompson's a guy that gives a decent amount of hard contact fly balls. It's not a bad ballpark. Yeah, you like those?
I'm checking what's going on there win wise. Of course, last few days
One to straight to right.
Okay, crosswind. I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a strong take on it, but you know what you're doing. So yeah, I don't disagree or agree. They're there. They're fine.
All right, I'll take that. Let's see, Profar. Not sure if I'm not playing DFS today because I'm way too focused on betting.
Your boy almost did it last night. We got there. We had a nice little lineup in the single entry on DK for the 121.
Oh yeah, shout out to that sack of crap, Daniel Chevelson, taking down
second.
Number 2, and what was it? The 121?
Yeah. I rostered my hitter against my pitcher. I'm told you're not allowed to do that, but it worked. Yeah. Trout versus Kirby. That worked out pretty well. Yeah. I know, 5-game slate. Whatever. This is not a DFS show, but people are just frightened to roster their hitters against their pitchers sometimes, and especially in smaller slates. No issues with that at all.
Alex says it's not hot in Chicago. It's 78, I think, is what it was. Yeah, 78. Dew point's not bad. 78's still hot enough.
So weather edge has it just a little bit above neutral as far as any one game sample, 3.9% bump in homers, 3.2% bump in runs, 78 degrees, 13 mile per hour crosswind. It's not what it's been, obviously, but it's not.
Yeah, it's not 88 with 15 mile an hour winds blowing out, but yeah, Acuna has been getting a lot of barrels. He just hasn't been getting enough home runs recently, and I've been riding it for a while. It's gone decent, but yeah.
He had 410 to whatever it was to Washington a couple of days ago, just a rocket, and he crushed the ball, but it's an out. That's just how it goes.
So in Coors, leading off on the road, Profar. What do you think his home runs odds are?
Profar is not a great home run hitter. I would say it's plus 550,
plus 660.
Okay, yeah.
So
I'm good with that. And we're not certain he's going to lead off, but he should lead off against the lefty. Yeah. They've had Grisham leading off the last few days when they face an righty, but lefty on lefty, they're probably not going to do that. Mazzara probably doesn't play this game. Probably doesn't start against Freeland. Azekar probably draws the start. But I'm okay with that. That's fine. He should get those 5 at bats, 5 shots.
All right.
What's Voit and Machado? I guess not good enough.
No, plus 250.
Yeah.
Would be my guess. Plus 250 and plus 280.
There's a fire emoji there too, I believe, right? You're in.
It's hot. It's hot. It's going to be 90 degrees today in Colorado Springs. So yeah, plus 215, plus 240. Not doing that, but Profar plus 660. That's a big number.
You can get an inside the Parker in Coors. You get the right bounce there. He's got some wheels. By the way, just to get him out of the way, and I was mentioning the raw thing because it's a great day, I think, to bet homers because you got that fire emoji and Coors as far as, just means really, really good hitting weather. Not just Coors, but fire emoji and Washington. They're currently in the front half of a doubleheader right now. I assume Adone is getting his face punched in because he's not been good. Yeah, 4-1 so far, Philadelphia. Has there been any homers yet? No home runs just yet in this game.
Few barrels. Castellanos, Schwarber both had barrels.
Yeah. Did you bet anything in that game or no?
No, a few people in the Discord were betting doubles in that game, and it worked out great.
Fire emoji in Baltimore as well. It's a small sample, but there is a fire emoji there. So, yeah, it just feels like a really strong day to pick out some homers, and, I think we're on the right spot so far.
Okay, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this. So, Montgomery going up against Toronto. Montgomery this year has been very good at limiting power. Going back to the beginning of last year, it's been a little bit different scenario. Obviously, we have some ridiculous righties in this lineup. So over 1.5 total bases for Springer and Vlad. What do you think the odds should be on that?
Also the Yankees have a good bullpen, right? Presuming that this game is reasonably close, you're going to see some good pitchers after Montgomery, and Montgomery probably sees them three times up top, but they do tend to limit his pitches. He's not a guy that's going to throw 105. But I would say About even money. They should be about even money.
Plus 124 on Vlad. Plus 140 on Springer.
Plus 140 on Springer. That's pretty good.
That's the one I like better. But what do you think the Vlad home run prop is?
The Vlad home run prop. Well, I mean, you're framing this in a way where I'm going to artificially bump it up in my head, just because that's the way you're saying. I haven't looked at it. So I'm going to say it's like plus 430.
Plus 500.
Yeah.
That's my favorite bet of the day. I think I did a video today. Plus 500 over at Caesars. Absolutely batshit.
Like, I think you're just supposed to play him 5-1 any day. Like, that's saying if he's playing 162 and you sim it out, right? And of course, some days are more better positioned to homer than others, but he's not a 30 home run a year guy. Like, that's just not what he is, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that the odds there are that's pretty good. And the ballpark, of course, in Toronto is fine. And I don't know if the dome's going to be open or not. They've been opening it.
If the dome's open, then that line should be like plus 300.
I feel like we definitely seen it open this week. I don't know what the temperature is currently in Toronto. I guess we can punch that in. I don't know how much that matters. But if anything, it's an upgrade.
Yeah. Let's see. I have a few in the Dodgers game. Chris Taylor plus 620 to hit a bomb. That's a big number. And then Betts plus 390 to hit a home run. I mean, we know Plesac has been awful this season. It's been better recently. Started off terrible, but one thing we know he does a ton of is give up a bunch of hard contact.
Hey, so I just as an aside, do you know I like to write punch up every single player that's pitching tonight on the night slate DFS wise and kind of like rank them and see how they look in columns and stuff. Do you know all the pitchers? I'm framing this in a way where it's gonna be somebody surprising. Who do you think gives it the most hard hit, the highest hard hit percentage on the that's pitching tonight? It's somebody you wouldn't expect. The biggest hard hit percentage amongst all the pitchers throwing baseballs tonight, worse than Madison Bumgarner, worse than Greinke, worse than Plesac. It's Lucas Giolito.
Yep. So fun fact, do you know I think he's number 4. Yep, number 4 at home runs per 9 versus righties. Below Bradish, Hernandez, Green.
I guess it's Giolito.
Yep.
I think he has a isn't he a reverse splits guy? I'm pretty sure he's a reverse splits guy. Am I wrong to say that, or is it just?
I mean, depending on what you're looking at, I think he strikes out righties at a higher clip. I mean, there's reverse split. It's kind of like Rich Hill. There's reverse splits. He is worse versus lefties, but he gets more strikeouts versus righties. That's kind of what happens with the curveball pitcher. So, yeah, I mean,
Cardi's got him as a reverse for what it's worth in the bat for Giolito. And it's funny you mentioned Hill because I was wondering if we could get to this. Michael Wacha is a large reverse split pitcher, right? In Fenway today versus a pile of righties for St. Louis, getting a big ballpark jump. We talked about that monster, and it can take and it can give depending on if you get the ball high in the air. And the weather looks pretty good as well. I know there was a fire emoji earlier today.
So the main thing is,
the line's bad. I'm thinking of Goldie and Arenado.
So the main thing is this season, he's been pretty good versus righties.
Wacha?
Yeah.
Yeah, but so what do you rely on this year? You want to stretch it back to last year, career-wise?
Some things popped up. Like I thought about a few guys, but I just like Wacha's been just so weird this season. I don't understand it. I know that like should be reverse splits. Like he has a good changeup. So he has a good curve. He should be reverse splits. But I don't know. I thought about it. I was looking into it. It just didn't catch my fancy. The only guy that had real good home run numbers, or not home run, a real good home run prop against him was Gorman.
The lefty.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, Goldschmidt sitting at 310, Arenado 295, O'Neill 250.
Yeah. I mean, those are. I mean, I like him for DFS. I don't know. 310 for Goldie's not terrible, but Yeah.
I did, however, in that game bet Story, I think. Where are you at, Story? Story to hit a home run, plus 530. It's all the way down to 410 now.
Well, he keeps losing at bats because they keep batting him 6th because they have to start like Duran to lead off or something. I don't
care.
Well, I mean,
it's a silly number.
What's the number again?
530.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, he's facing Wainwright.
Wainwright has not been great this season. One thing he's given up a ton of is hard contact to
Not a
runs.
lot of homers for the record, but like he's been protected by homer to fly ball 7%. Alex in chat, by the way, makes an interesting point about Waka, and you talk about his weird season. One of the best barrel rates on this season at 5.6% if you compare him to the other pitchers in the slate.
Ooh, Dahlbeck. Dahlbeck, Milo in chat, Dahlbeck is sitting at plus 750.
Yeah. Like he probably bats like 8th or 9th. There's a chance like he's the home team. So like many times when you're the home team and you win the game, you only get like 3 at bats if you're batting 8th or 9th. Just that's important to note for me because 5 we talk about for Yelich, 5 most likely, or good chance. And then 3, there's a real, very realistic chance he only gets 3 shots. Now that's baked into the plus 750.
Yeah, there's also a chance he won't be in the lineup. So I'm going to wait and see until he's in the lineup.
That's true too.
Yeah. Let's see. Other bets. I already talked about that. Ketel Marte. What do you think his home run odds are?
I think he's dealing with an injury. So
yeah,
careful.
He has been for a while. It's pissed me off, but
yeah. So be careful. I mean, I know some of the sites kind of trap you. If they pinch hit, you're screwed. Like, of course, they pinch it in homer. There you go. It's a miracle. But some of them, right? They don't. If they're not starting,
so FanDuel had like. Let me know anyone in chat. Like, have you? So the few times where they've been pinch hit for on FanDuel, I actually haven't got. It's just been voided.
Do they void it before the game starts altogether?
No, not generally. I know DraftKings I think does. Caesars is the one I know that like they will if they pinch hit for you lose. Because I had Judge earlier this year, and I'm like, oh, he's not in the lineup. Oh, he pinch hit. Judge and Stanton, I think, both happened over at Caesars. But I've seen it a few times where they void it when they come to pinch hit. So I don't know. By
the way, just a heads up, we talk about Coors and how hot it is today. 12.5 total. San Diego's total is almost 7. It's 6.82. Yep. Good Lord. That is Milo or Milo? In chat says Caesar's rule on the site is that player must start. Okay, yeah, I like that. I mean, that's that you prefer that, I presume. You don't want you're not shooting for that one time they come in as a pinch hitter.
Milo in chat sounding like Caesar's is awful run, which I already know they are. They void some, they don't void others. And on the site it says the player must start. So.
So if it's not consistent, that's a problem too. I want consistency. Let me know what I'm getting myself into.
Yeah. I mean, Caesars is just the worst run sportsbook I've ever seen. Horribly profitable.
Because you've complained about several. Is Caesars if you're going to power rank them in reverse?
Yeah. But they're terribly profitable, so.
Yeah. Well, so like, yeah. So
I'm signing up for them in next month. I will be signing up for them in Tennessee, Indiana, Illinois, and in Michigan, because they have a system where, guess what? You sign up in a different state, boom, free money, free sign-up bonus.
Is that you got to go to the Four Corners, New Mexico, and
I have. The problem is they're only Colorado and Arizona are the only two, plus geolocation issues. But yeah, I went to the Four Corners not too long ago.
Take a couple steps, like
Yeah,
I don't know how precise the geolocation thing is, but
it's not great, especially like on Wi-Fi. It's a little bit easier, but otherwise, it's a little bit more confusing.
I feel like that's uneventful. The Four Corners, right? Is it worth pulling over for?
I wanted to see it once. I'm a silly goose, so I laid across all 4 corners, had a different limb in every state. It was fun for me.
Nobody's ever thought of that before. Did you pull over? I know you've done the drive from Vegas to California plenty of times. Did you ever pull over for the world's largest thermometer?
Oh yeah,
of course.
I mean, I've driven past it like 100 times.
Say it again.
I've driven past it over 100 times.
Yeah. I don't think you ever finished your thought on Montgomery. We kind of talked about it, but I don't think you ever finished your thought on it. Like what your bet was.
Vlad over 1.5 total bases, Springer over 1.5 total bases, Vlad to hit home run.
Okay, my bad. Yeah, I just want to make sure. I thought like we kind of got derailed, and I just want to make sure your bet was out there.
By the way, people in chat talking about so obviously I've been giving out a ton of home run calls, talking about, oh, maybe we should just bet total bases over 1.5, because there's huge volatility in home runs, and a lot of these guys are getting doubles. I'm like, yes, you can. That's entirely fine. But the main thing is I'm betting the number. Like if we want to be very, very, if we want to exaggerate, like flat is a fairly exaggerated number between 1.5 total. I bet both of them, but 1.5 total bases and to hit a home run. Plus 124 is a good number for over 1.5 total bases. Plus 500 to hit a home run is a massively good number. So there's huge disparity between that. Like,
when you talk about picking the number, like you made the point about Yelich. You just prefer Yelich at plus 140 to go over 1.5 as opposed to, what was he, like plus 350 to hit a homer or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah. So like Urias, actually a pretty decent number, plus 134 to go over 1.5 total bases. I'm betting the off numbers. That's what I'm betting. And right now, FanDuel has an absurd amount of numbers that are off for home runs.
Dahlbeck not in the Boston lineup, by the way.
All right, I'm out on that. So, for instance, Tommy Pham, I got him at plus 530 on his over. Right now, you can get his under at plus 550 or minus 550 at multiple different sites. So, literally, that's a 0.5% juice market. You can take either side. So, it's figuring out which side, and that's if the perfect line was plus 540, then that would mean that there's no edge on either side. Well, guess what? These lines aren't perfect. So unless they're near perfection, you're going to have plus ROI on one of the sides. Right now, it's clearly FanDuel at plus 530 being the huge edge here. Same thing with Profar. Plus 610 over on FanDuel, minus 670 over on Bet Rivers, TwinSpire, Barstool.
By the way, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, the perfect line or the no juice line, if we're creating the synthetic market, is going to be what? Plus 645, plus 635. Can't remember which. Plus 645. Plus 640. So that's if that synthetic market is perfect. It's not. It's not. The drastic edge is on Profar plus 610. There's a reason why it's 200 points higher, 150 points higher than every single other place. Like we're looking at FanDuel lines specifically because I've been tracking this for a while and finally decided to go all in or go pretty heavy on it. 610 for Profar at FanDuel, 460 at Caesars, 375 plus 375 at MGM. That's 235 points of difference in juice. So this is why I'm betting FanDuel so heavily. They might adjust eventually. Almost all sites eventually do adjust to things unless they just want to keep giving away money. Caesars has never adjusted to anything because they're awfully run. So there's always an edge there. But yeah, so that's why I'm betting these lines. I'm finding drastic disparities in lines on FanDuel, and I'm hammering them. And most of the time they come in games where FanDuel's algorithm isn't. So I can guarantee FanDuel's algorithm isn't fully adjusting for, one, Green's huge propensity towards home runs. They're probably regressing him more towards the mean. And two, they aren't putting nearly enough in for the weather over in Cincinnati.
It's a combination of three, right? Weather, ballpark, and pitcher that supplies fly balls, right?
Yeah.
That's
and tons of hard contact. That's another thing. Like, so we saw something on StatCast not too long ago. I can't remember what position player was in, but like 35 mile per hour pitch that was the slowest pitch to ever get hit for a home run.
That was the Cubs pitcher Frank Schwindel giving up a home run to, I believe, Higashioka.
I think that sounds right.
It was, yeah.
It's actually easier to hit a home run against someone throwing the ball super fast.
Well, you supply the power, yeah.
Yeah, it's a change in kinetic energy. So that's why guys like Verlander, Garrett Cole, especially when the balls were juiced, were giving up more home runs than anyone else. They were striking out more than anyone else, but even if you're not swinging that hard, you're hitting at 100 mile per hour ball, it's going to fly way further.
Yeah. That makes – well, also like in the home run derby, you don't see pitchers throwing the ball 35 miles per hour. Obviously you're not throwing 90, but you got to get the perfect mix of like hittable and some speed, right?
Yeah, it's like 70. Like
Yeah.
What's more important than velocity is contact, like launch angle and how much of the bat hits the ball, like where on the ball it hits. Same thing with golf. You can swing as hard as you want, but if you're not hitting it dead center, you're going to lose 50 yards. So someone who a little twig guy can easily outdrive me if he's just getting perfect contact. And I hit bad contact. Let's see a few other bets here. Ohtani to hit a home run plus 360 on FanDuel seems silly to me. Even going lefty against a good pitcher in Ray. Am I off there?
Yeah. I was reading Cheese's article talking about Ray, and like basically, I think he was talking about last game. He basically threw all fastballs, like he survived. But Ray is just such an enigma, such an anomaly. I have no idea what to do with that guy, ever. He's really, really hard to predict. But sure, as a general rule, I suppose you're getting, what is it, plus 350 in Ohtani?
Plus 360, yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. But Ray is tougher on lefties, obviously. What is his ISO versus lefties?
Let's see. Versus lefties.
And you probably get 3 at bats as well, and maybe 1 or 2 versus the bullpen, depending on how things are going against. Yeah, Ray probably sees him 3 times, though. But
so versus lefties,
I assume it's pretty good because I'm pretty sure. Like I know he's K-wise, he strikes out lefties. Well, 31%, 29, about the same the last 2 years. I thought it was a bigger.
We don't have a huge sample size of Ray versus lefties. Technically 1.84, but that's only in not that many innings.
Yeah, teams just don't throw lefties at him, I think. It's kind of like the Chris Sale situation. Like you just never see lefties against him. I think that's how that is.
Yeah.
And as far, according to Cardi, his splits for Ray, I think it's just kind of, it's just, okay, so it's a huge split according to Cardi's bat for what it's worth. So obviously.
I don't think it's a huge split for power. It's a huge split for strikeouts, which Ohtani does strike out a decent amount versus lefties and versus righties, but I just 360. And he's surrounded by righties, and he has Trout right next to him, so the bullpen more likely going to face righties.
But speaking of Ray, I'm in a state where I can't make legal sports gambling things, but I can play Prize Picks. I did bet Ray over 6.5 strikeouts today over there, and I paired it with Montas over 5, and I think it was 5.5 and 6.5. I just think that both of those are just a tick too low.
Yeah. So Robbie Ray sitting at minus 164 over at Caesars, minus 140 over at DraftKings. So yeah, it's a pretty drastic disparity in lines. So getting
a price minus 165.
Yeah, over 6.5.
Yeah. So we've talked about this before about Prize Picks. Their payout structure is not your typical exacta payout.
So it's the general rule is minus 137.
But if you got to find the inaccuracies in the lines, and when you see the odds of him going over 6.5 strikeouts tonight, I think is greater than 135.
Yeah, the bat has him projected for 7.78. Going up against the Angels lineup that strikes out a decent amount. You know what? For a movie bet, I'll take the under on that just because I like to gamble.
Yeah, our movie bet got thrown out yesterday because we had the pitcher for the Yankees who got he wasn't feeling well.
Late scratch, Severino.
Yeah. So
got the Kofifi.
No, I think it was non-COVID. I think they said it was non-COVID. I could be wrong, but I think
I could be wrong too. I got the notification. Severino scratched COVID. I could have easily said non-COVID.
Yeah. I think it was a non-COVID thing, but I think he's feeling better. So good, whatever it was. So good for him, and hopefully he'll be back in the rotation soon enough. But
I think I have 2 more bets. Michael Brantley over 1.5 total bases, plus 140. Giolito strikes out lefties a lot, but Brantley just put the ball in play. So
he just needs 2. The problem with that is he needs 2 hits. that's my problem.
No, he's got a decent amount of doubles. He just doesn't get home runs.
Yeah, I guess he'll put a ball in the gap, I suppose. He's a good professional hitter, and obviously he's a better hitter in real life than he is for DFS purposes or gambling purposes. But you are going to
getting you home runs too often. He will get you some doubles.
You can't. If he's at 0 hits in the 9th, you're probably in trouble. He's at the plate.
I'd say with most people at 0 hits in the 9th, I'm in trouble.
Well, but Trout can always bail you out. Or whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean. But
and then Valerie Nishuskin plus 240 to score a goal on Caesars.
This is hockey, I believe.
I believe so.
How are you pronouncing that name?
Valery Nishkushin.
Is he? Hold on. I feel like I feel like I should know the person you're saying. So I follow hockey a little bit. Like I'm not the expert that you are, but okay, yeah. I know Landeskog. I know McKinnon, McCarr. They're the point man who's awesome there. But I don't know that guy. But he's on their top line. He's on their power play.
Actually, I had it right. Nishuskin.
Okay. Yeah. Are you watching? Did you watch game one? I know you might be going one of the games going forward, but
no, DK, you don't play that to me. Now I'm stuck going to a Rockies game tomorrow.
Why do you say it like? I mean, is that like a humble brag, or you really don't want to go to the game?
No, it's just not as good as a Stanley Cup game.
Oh, instead of the hockey game, you're going to go to a Rockies game.
Yeah, I'm excited to go to the game. I haven't been to one since around this time last year.
Is it a day game or a night game? You know,
night game. So
okay. Yeah, day game would be like brutal out there, I would imagine, weather-wise.
Yeah, it will also be nice, like go to the Rockies game, get hammered drunk with my buddy.
Also, you got to make some bets, right? You got to bet some overs and some homers.
Oh yeah.
You got to make at least one DFS lineup and stack the game.
Yeah.
You got to do all those things. Otherwise, they won't allow you in. Like, especially if DK is getting you in, like you have. This is like rite of passage.
Yep.
Dynamite drop in.
Yeah. No, like
you got a buddy in town, or just who you going with?
Just one of my buddies that lives up in Denver.
I got you.
You'll meet him. You'll meet him at the wedding.
Oh man, that's right. Yeah, that's happening soon, man. That's still a go as far as I know.
As far as I know, or else I'm in some trouble.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Yeah, that would not be good. I would be better now than in 3 weeks when we have the rest of our deposits, but hopefully never.
Yeah. Am I still flying out if that's just to hang out? I don't know.
Probably.
What a mess that must be. I've never been a part of a wedding where like somebody like objected or like, things have gone awry. Secretly, I always kind of root for it, but at the same time, not really, because it will be a disaster for the people I presumably like. I'm not rooting for it, for the record. I'm just saying it would be such a spectacle to see.
Like I'm in deep six figures in on this. We have a house together. Weddings are not cheap.
But I would enjoy the moment for 12 seconds, and then I'm like, "Oh, this is terrible." Actually, I like Grant.
Yeah, you have certain people that like friends from college that invite you to the wedding. Like, yeah, no, he's an awful person. Why am I at this wedding? Like, he shouldn't be with anyone.
Well, then you're kind of rooting. Yeah. That's. I guess you've never been to one of these weddings that have gone awry. That's
nope.
Yeah.
Nope,
I just want it on my resume, not this one. I want at some point in my life though, I want to attend one where, it should go sideways.
Yeah. No, I met one buddy or hung out with one guy, like a good friend of my other friend, and he's like, "Yeah, no, I got left at the altar. Just got back from my honeymoon. It was fun 2 weeks."
Was it like forgetting Sarah Marshall? Where he went by himself? Like, wait.
Yeah.
he went in the.
Oh no, he actually went with my other buddy. So it's like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good upgrade for him. It's like, all right, yeah, sure, I'll have a trip to Hawaii or wherever. But yeah, I had a terrible friend. I didn't mean that to come out the way it came out. I'm not rooting for it. I'm definitely not rooting for it.
I'm really not worried. I think I would be the more likely one to walk away, and there's no chance.
Okay.
Like, I would have to find out some pretty serious stuff about her in order for me to be like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Didn't the bachelorette party just go down?
Yeah.
That's all. I got no more questions.
I mean, I don't. I tried to convince her to go to a male strip club. She didn't do it.
Well, I mean, why? When you had sand in the beach, what's that line they say?
I have no idea.
Why go to the beach when you have sand at home or something? There's a line. You're at home. Whatever. You're the sand. Why go to the beach? Somebody in chat.
Why go out to eat when you got a nice steak dinner at home?
There you go. Yeah, that's it. You are that steak dinner.
I mean, I'm more a hungry man frozen dinner.
Do they still sell those? Like,
oh yeah, they're fantastic.
They are not Grant. They are not fantastic. I refuse. No.
Disagree.
I mean, it always would heat like it's like the mashed potatoes are cold and the chicken is scalding hot and they're right next to each other. Like, how does this happen? Seriously, you're not eating. I mean, no, if that's your thing, by all means, go for it. Have at it, enjoy yourself. But you don't really. That's
I'm more of a kid cuisine fan.
Yeah.
The chicken tenders and the mac and cheese and then the applesauce. No, if I'm going frozen meal, then like my go-to frozen meals are like chicken fried steak. You know, because it's tough to find a decent
chicken fried steak. It is chicken, right?
It's
like beat
like
down?
ground beef that's fried like fried chicken.
I've had it before.
It's delicious. It always has. I'm a big fan of white gravy.
I don't like the. Yeah, I'm out in the gravy. I wanted a la carte. I wanted to, just.
Yeah, so you wouldn't be a chicken fried steak guy. It's one of my favorite.
Put it aside. Just let me distribute it if I want to. If I feel like ambitious. Don't throw it on top for me.
I love country gravy.
Yeah, it's not for. I mean, I probably only had it once and I just didn't like it. But I will just take it as is. It's fine. Well, why do we have to ruin the the chicken fried steak?
I mean, because gravy's fantastic.
Yeah, but gravy inherently is not white. I know it is, but it's, and I know Italians call like spaghetti sauce gravy. At least my one Italian friend did, and that threw me off for a while. He's like, "Are you aware of this concept that like ragu and pregu is like, well, whatever, some sort of Italian version of that? They call it gravy. Did you know this?
Yeah.
You're not Italian, right? I don't think so.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, but that's what at least according to a small sample size. But
white gravy is made out of butter, flour mixed together to form paste with milk and black pepper. Yeah, it's great.
All right. Well, I feel like have we we're still doing the show. We're still on the air. Yes.
Yeah, we're still on the air, but I've gone through all like that. So if you guys want to leave, go ahead.
Are people still watching this nonsense at this point?
Drop a comment in chat if you're still watching us.
There you go. And give your thoughts on do you call pasta sauce gravy? Is that something you do?
No.
Well, I was saying to the chat, like I'm curious. I want to get a bigger consensus. But yeah, maybe that's just this one dude. But like, yeah, I think it is an Italian thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, we should probably get out of here because it doesn't seem like anyone's in chat, or at least anyone's paying attention. It's been a while. Good luck on your bets tonight, guys. We're out of here.